saw a huge clothesline take Perez down, but the power of the Soultaker not enough to keep the Latin heartthrob down for a count of 3. Raking the back, the Soultaker. And if Perez spent any time in the sun today, that would hurt. Even if he didn't, it hurts. The right connects to the forehead, and the Soultaker, hearing the warning of James Beard, I don't know if he will be heeding the warning, however. Soultaker misses. Charging in there, Perez out of the way. Perez, the quicker of the two, using his quickness here. Roundhouse right, lands right on the chops. One more time, and the Soultaker leans back to try to get out of the way. The shot connects, and Soultaker over the top rope and out. Standing over 6 feet, 6 inches tall. The Soultaker having to go against Perez. Outweighed here by almost 70 to 80 pounds. And the Soultaker now taking the fight outside of the ring. Using the ring apron to his advantage. And now Soultaker getting the opportunity to go in. But stopped by Perez, who takes him into the post. James Beard out there telling him about the count. Perez back in. Goes back to the ropes and delivers. The boot right into the midsection. Soultaker takes the big man down. Knee right into the chin. Perez not keeping on top of the big man from Las Vegas as the Soultaker takes Perez into the top turnbuckle. The boot, at least a size 16 into the midsection. As Perez trying to gain his balance using the ropes, gets to one knee, gets to both feet, but it's just enough time for the Soultaker to use that top rope to choke the Latin heartthrob. The knee into the midsection stops the charge. And now Perez says, I know how to use tactics like you've been using throughout the match. And Perez goes to work. Although Perez may be a fan favorite, he has not changed his tactics. Just to please the fans, he's still the same rough guy that he's always been, as you can see right there. That put a lot of pressure into the neck and the chin. And the Soultaker shakes it off. And now doling out the punishment to Perez. Soultaker, oh my. Big collision in the corner, and it looks like the Soultaker may think that he has this one won. Whip over into the other corner. Soultaker follows it up and right into the boot by Perez, who was able to get it up. Perez gets up to the second rope and double axe handle to the top of the Soultaker's head. Perez now escorts the Soultaker over to the top rope, using the top rope to his advantage, trying to cut the wind off of the massive man from Las Vegas. The shot into the midsection breaks the momentum. And the headbutt, quite effective, as the Soultaker stalks his opponent. Headbutt right into the midsection. That may have knocked the wind out of Al Perez. Soultaker now just standing on the throat. Both men must be quite worn out by now, but it looks like the Soultaker may have the opportunity to go for the win here. drops the leg on top of Al Perez. This could do it. But the Soultaker not going for the pin. May be a mistake. Up to his feet is Al Perez. The whip, and oh, yes indeed, it was a mistake. As Perez gets the opportunity, he goes back, flying forearm. And the Latin heartthrob says this might do it for me as he goes to work, trying to cut off some of the wind from the Soultaker. The bell rings. That may mean a time limit. Let's see if we can get the official word here as they go on.
10-minute time limit has elapsed.
And they're still going after it. This man is the Soultaker, carrying in almost a 75-pound weight advantage into this matchup against Al Perez. I mentioned the last time these two men met in the squared circle, it was a time limit draw with both men carrying the fight beyond the bell. I believe we have plenty of time left in this edition of the GWF.
We'll probably need every second of it with these two men. You look at the size of the Soultaker, but you match that against the experience. And you got to remember, Al Perez is not above playing the devious game a little bit. You got to match everything together. They may just keep fighting and fighting and fighting, and nobody could win. That's what happened last time. And there's a look at the Latin heartthrob. Al Perez has distanced himself from former managers, the likes of which Gary Hart, Skandor Akbar, now off on his own and doing quite well, Craig.
Well, this is a main event that fans should get excited about, so I'll try to get a little excited here.
Please do.
The Soultaker against Al Perez. Soultaker, who won a title, very prestigious title, over in Europe, the Catch Wrestling Association Heavyweight Championship, beat Scott Hall for that honor. Going against a man who's no slouch in his own right as Al Perez gets the chair. This happened last time.
And there's a little bit of that temper of Al Perez. He's known for that.
Ended up using chairs in the melee that ensued following the match. Last time they met in the ring.
It's not often we talk about Al Perez being outsized in a match, but he is in this one. And there's a look at the man who outsizes him, the Soultaker.
Standing around 6'6", 6'7", Perez at about 6'3", 6'4". And you see some of the leverage being used there by the maniacal Soultaker, who was introduced as being from Dungeon, Nevada.
Wow.
Now, I understand he was born in Las Vegas. As I said many times, he's never taken a chance in his life, I don't believe.
I wonder if he gets like his Visa card bills at Dungeon, Nevada. Boy, some weird looks from the postman. You know, on a Global Wrestling Federation 900 hotline interview, Eddie Gilbert admitted, out and out admitted, that he interfered in the match between the Patriot and Al Perez on behalf of the Patriot.
What?
He knew all along what he was doing. He said he shoved Al Perez so the Patriot could win the title, so the Patriot would have to give up the TV title so he could win it.
But I know good and well, knowing the character of the Patriot, he had no knowledge of that.
No. And once again, consider the source, Craig. We're talking about Eddie Gilbert. Eddie Gilbert could tell me the sun was coming up tomorrow and I'd go sell my house because I would not believe it.
Well, believe that the Soultaker is having his success with a Latin heartthrob, choking him across the middle rope. And Al Perez really not knowing how to attack this man from Nevada.
Al Perez has worn his fair share of gold as a wrestler before. Former Mid-South Tag Team Champion with Wildcat Wendell Cooley.
Beat Steve Williams and Ted DiBiase for that honor.
No small feat in and of itself there. Al Perez also a former Florida heavyweight champion and currently resides in Tampa, Florida.
Look at that. He throws the Soultaker's head into the turnbuckle, and it has absolutely no effect on the Soultaker. He tries it the other way. Soultaker blocks and then proceeds to throw the head of Al Perez into that top turnbuckle.
When those big tree trunk arms grab a hold of your head and slam you into the turnbuckle, there's nowhere to go but right on in. And Al Perez is feeling the effects of Excedrin headache number 315.
When you think of how you can try to attack the Soultaker, you could try to attack his body, but it's so well put together,
right.
I don't know how effective it would be. You saw Al Perez working on his head earlier. That seemed to have no effect. How do you beat a man like this?
Well, I don't know. Right now, Al Perez just probably wants to catch his breath or be able to feel something from his neck down as the Soultaker has wrenched the neck. There's a good look at it. Look at the pained expression on the face of the Latin heartthrob Al Perez as the Soultaker really firmly in control of this event.
Al Perez trying to make it up to at least one knee, and he's able to make it back up to his feet. Delivers the knee into the midsection. Maybe he caught him in the ribs. Picks up the Soultaker, sends him down. Quite a feat.
Wow.
For Al Perez. The Latin heartthrob with a knee. Fans, we have to take a break. Don't you go away. Action continues when we return. Al Perez with some shots into the midsection as we return here in the GWF. Craig Johnson along with Scott Hudson. And down in the stands with the fans is Bonnie Blackstone. The Soultaker now in control here. Has his head rammed into the top turnbuckle. And now the Soultaker, ouch.
Boy, I don't have to tell you how bad Al Perez feels after that.
The Soultaker, quite possibly the toughest man in the GWF.
And his tag team combination with Bad News called Bad Attitude. That's two men I don't want to deal with anytime, anywhere, anyhow.
A lot of people have been asking about where Bad News is, currently on a tour of Mexico. The Soultaker going for the elbow. Perez out of the way. The Latin heartthrob with some success here. Goes up to the second rope, comes down. The Soultaker down on the mat. That's a place he's not used to being.
We don't see that very often at all. The Soultaker flat on his back, counting the lights, as they say.
Oh. But he gets back up. Perez going back to work. You have to wonder, well, that might have some effect. No matter how well you develop things, you don't have many muscles around the Adam's apple, and that may very well indeed have its effect on the Soultaker.
Al Perez realizes he's not going to be able to out-muscle the Soultaker, so he thinks he's going to out-wrestle him, and I think that's a perfect strategy for Al Perez.
I didn't even think of that. I was thinking of all the ways he could out-brawl him, but wrestling is the name of the game. Sorry, my mind may, in fact, be elsewhere.
I think we discussed that. For those of you joining us late, earlier in this program, the boss finally revealed by GWF announcer Joe Pedicino as Max Andrews, our interim commissioner, exposed as the boss of the cartel. That means everything Mukun Singh, Cactus Jack, Scott Anthony, Rip Rogers, everything to do with the cartel. Max Andrews has been behind all along.
You remember how we were wondering how two tag teams ended up in the final round? Anyway, back to the action. This is too good to be talking about that, quite frankly, although that is primarily what is on my mind. The Soultaker in a surfboard situation, putting the pressure on the back of Al Perez, now putting that motorcycle-type boot to the upper back. You can see that it indeed does have its effects on Perez.
And this match has gone on now for maybe 7 or 8 minutes. That's going to take its toll on both men, as either one of these men can take it out of you, and they can take it out of each other.
Both men requested the longer time limit because of the time limit draw from last time.
And in speaking with the Soultaker and in knowing Al Perez like I knew they would not be satisfied with another time limit draw on television. They want to settle this situation right here today.
Perez using the extra leverage by standing on the middle rope. Shoulder block. Takes the Soultaker off balance. And that takes him way off balance. The Latin heartthrob having some success. Going to try to get the big man over on the backslide. That's 325 pounds he's trying to leverage over.
That's a lot of weight to bring over. Has Perez got the strength, the stamina to do it? He's almost got it, Craig.
He's got him off his feet. He has him for the backslide. He has him down. The shoulders are not down.
Did not get the shoulders to the mat. The referee could not begin the count. What a break for the Soultaker.
Perez goes back. The forearm.
The referee
goes down. And speaking of coming down, the Outlaw and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
The Outlaw and Eddie Gilbert.
The Outlaw. Gilbert hits him with a television championship belt and now pushes the referee over there.
No.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, the Soultaker.
And there's a look at your winner, the Soultaker, but what a controversial victory it was. Let's go to Craig Johnson, who is standing by at ringside.
Well, I guess since Eddie Gilbert knows the situation about interim commissioner Max Andrews, he seems to figure out that he can get away with just about anything, once again costing Al Perez a match. Let me bring in the Latin heartthrob, who once again was cost a match by Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Well, you know something, Craig, and all these other people know, I can break rules myself. It's my fault because I don't have eyes behind my head. But let me tell you, the best way to get somebody off guard is coming from behind. Well, no big deal, Eddie Gilbert. Send all your big guys because there's not very many people bigger than this guy here. Soultaker, I know what you're made of now, brother. Eddie Gilbert better be paying you a lot because when I get you, and Eddie Gilbert, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna break you in half. This is just the beginning, because when I finish, you're gonna know it's over.
Fans, when we return on Major League Wrestling, Bonnie Blackstone will have an interview, but then we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna talk to Eddie Gilbert.